Alright, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Onto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a quick show through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Alone, you brothers will be edified. I was going to look up demographic and statistics, but at this point in the game, if you can't see it, I don't know what to say. You don't need that much proof. And that proof, prime example, was yesterday. It's not just New York City, it's all around the country. These transformers, these walking abomination was out there prancing themselves, being proud of themselves, displaying the most odious, evilest work that you could possibly see. And even Apostle Torah had put up a video, and a lot of us couldn't even bear to watch it because it's gotten to the point of there's no return. What I mean is no return. There's no return for a lot of Israelites, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because a lot of them have turned to the dark side, so to speak. And that dark side is the ways of the nation. And once Israel gets their hands into something or put themselves involved in something, they just don't go one deep, they go 5 deep. They go beyond the means of even how other people would think or would see certain things. Alright? They just that they could be that goddamn wicked. Okay? And this is one of the main reasons why the Lord has to really cleanse Israel, but not in a sense of the way of with water. He's going to cleanse them with what? Fire. Because our people, they need to be they need to be burnt. They need to be melted, so to speak. Because all they're doing is non-beneficial to them. Alright, matter of fact, let me start with that scripture real quick. Isaiah 3:9, it says, the show of their countenance. What does it mean by countenance? They look. Alright, so the show of their look, their countenance, how they display themselves, the witness against them. So it's a witness against these people that was out there flaunting something that they don't have. A bunch of pretenders. And it says against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. So when you look up the word declare, Nagad, it says to be compass, tell, make known, to tell, declare, to tell, announce, report. There was a term coming out the closet. Now they're displaying it. They're displaying themselves as something that is not beneficial to them. And it's not a thing of they was born that way. Those are just excuses that they use. And the real reason why they're displaying themselves is people are taking sides, so to speak. The Lord is making people display themselves, perform, show people, make it public. Right? It says to inform of, to publish, declare, to proclaim, to avow, acknowledge, confess. So they're confessing on themselves. Alright? It says messenger, to be told, be announced, be reported. So they're self-snitching. Okay, they putting themselves out there. They're displaying themselves. Okay? It says they declare their sin as Sodom. So the Lord's comparing the actions of these people as Sodom. So we all know the history of Sodom and Gomorrah and what took place of that. And this society is so weird and sick that they do not want to display that history in that sort of fashionable way, because the simple fact is that would take away from that pride that they have. All right, they don't care. They just out there. They do what they do. And it says they hide it not. They don't care. They don't hide it no more. All right. They don't hide it anymore. It's a joint effort. And a brother had put up a video on. Damn, I just remember one of the guys' name was Tommy something. It was Alfred Kingston or something like that. A sick bastard. And another psychiatrist that was completely left field. And Lord, when I put the video up with this video, and they the ones, and you know, when you hear, you know, unfortunately I'm one of them type of persons that used to like watch a lot of television, but when you see a young bright scientist, a person that had to display in the film that will change the minds of everybody, a lot of times they try to make them in a heroic figure. And these two individuals that I'm speaking of, they were so evil that they made it where one scientist was pretty much, he was a pedophile, and he was displaying, according to data and so forth, that kids are sexual from birth, you know. And that was something that was not slowly, but in a manner of that wasn't something openly displayed, but yet there was nothing after. He's been doing that for years, and he's considered to be a hero. And that's how Esau thinks. All right, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. Then you had another guy who's basically that gives the whole notion of pedophilia, where young boys and girls can actually wear dresses and wear each other's clothing. So this leads the same thing that was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah. Matter of fact, it says, "Woe unto their souls, for they reward." Woe unto their soul, for they have reward evil unto themselves. And that's the evil. What's the evil? I'm gonna bring it up. Leviticus 20:13. It says, "If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them," meaning it's their own fault. All right. Now, going to what I was saying, Genesis, I believe it's 19, right? 19. All right, Genesis 19 to the point. I just want to get to the point. All right, 7. And he said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, I'm sorry. I should go up. There it is. Genesis 19 and 4. All right, I just start at, the point is at 6. Genesis 19, I start at 1. And they came 2 angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face towards the ground, showing reverence. All right, he was showing reverence to the angels of the Lord, and he was trying to protect them, so to speak. All right, it says, and he said, "Behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray, unto your servant's house, and tarry all night, and I will wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways." Because the angels were like, they came as men, and he was, the scripture says, be aware that you may entertain strangers, you entertain angels unawares. So they came as men, and he was trying to protect them from that environment. Okay, but he didn't know who they really were. So slacky about that. And it says, and go your way, and said not, and they say nay. They told him, no, we want to investigate this thing. Said, but we will abide in the street all night. So they like, look, we came here to investigate, and and he pressed upon them greatly. So he's like, look, no, that's not a wise thing. Things happen at nighttime. And this, you know what's funny about about this particular situation that we're reading is that you could involve that into any major city. Okay? The best advice somebody could tell you, don't stay out late at night. Bad things happen. All right? It's, the song Houdini, the freaks come out at night. That's an actual fact. And they turned unto him and entered his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they laid down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round about, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So the key is both old and young. So it's talking about young men, okay, that was into that lifestyle. And what do you have here today in this current society? What's being pushed? What's being pushed is that wicked vibration, all right, which proves that this man is the devil that this Bible speaks of. They know the history. They know exactly how things went down in this particular region in this particular time. Yet they still targeting children. All right. Matter of fact, let me get my favorite. They're still targeting children openly. Wisdom of Solomon. I don't know. I always tend to forget certain things. Wisdom of Solomon. 12. Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 12, and I start at 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things, therefore that chastising them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them into remembrance wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness, that they may believe on thee, O Lord. It's talking about for Israel. Because the Lord is not concerned about the other nations. He cares less about them. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both the old inhabitants of the Holy Land. Who was the old inhabitants of the Holy Land? The Canaanites. All right. Matter of fact, there was 7 nations of Canaan that was dwelling there. The Jebusites, the Gergesites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites. It's in Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. And they were a mighty nation before us. Matter of fact, before I continue, let me get this, because it goes with this. Leviticus 18 and 1, it says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, say unto them, I am the Lord your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, which was Martezayim, all right, in the Hebrew. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwelt, shall you not do. So don't do what you was doing in Egypt. I'm going to continue because it's very important. It says, after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, you shall not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So the Egyptians and the Canaanites were doing pretty much the same thing, because this particular chapter tells you of all the laundry list of things that they were doing in that land that we was not supposed to do. And I'm just gonna, one of the main things they were doing: bestiality, homosexuality, incest. All right. The term of Philadelphia, which brotherly love, that goes to Ptolemies. However, that was a practice that they were doing in Egypt. Brothers and sisters was getting married. Okay. So the Lord said, look, don't do what these people were doing. This is the main reason why he got rid of them out of that land. So ye shall do my judgment and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord thy power. Matter of fact, verse 18 and 10, I believe, right? No, I'm sorry. 20. It says, moreover, thou shalt, actually, both of them. Moreover, thou shalt not lay carnal with thy neighbor's wife, adultery, to defile thyself with her. Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, which was a Canaanite god. If I'm not mistaken, Bel was Moab's version of Molech. Alright? So they was sacrificing their children. It says, neither should thou profane the name of the Lord thy power. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind is an abomination. So these are what the Egyptians were doing, and these are what the Canaanites were doing. So we have an understanding of what was going on in that environment, right? So going back to Wisdom of Solomon 12 and I started 3 again. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers the children of the promise, okay? Not the ones that got delivered out of Egypt, but that next generation that believed in the Lord. All right, there was the Lord's battle axe, weapons of war, and it says of our fathers, both those old inhabitants of the Holy Land, whom that hate us for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and that's what they were doing: human sacrifices, giving their children up to Molech. All right, and cannibalism, adultery, all of it. You name it, they were doing it. It says verse 5, and also those merciless murders of children, devouring men's flesh, and the feast of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and their parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. So you had parents that was sacrificing their own children. Sounds familiar? Roe versus Wade. So all these things that we're doing in that land, we was not supposed to do. Okay? Verse 7, it says that the land which thou esteem above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. So that land which is the land of Israel, which is the centerpiece, which is the eye of the Most High. He could not bear to see that. Showing that these rats, they about to be evicted from that land forever. Okay? But what did Israel do? Did Israel take heed? Eventually, no. They eventually did the same thing as the Canaanites did. Which, this is why I wanted to do the scripture. This scripture popped in my head. I'm going to have to jump around. It's a long chapter. Ezekiel 16. I saw that one, but it says, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity, meaning your birthland, is the land of Canaan. Thy father is an Amorite, and thy mother is a Hittite. So the Lord, is that a good thing? No, that's a horrible thing. The Lord was comparing them to those heathens. All right? Because they was doing what the heathens were doing. So he's saying, look, you nothing but heathens unto me right now. It's as for thy negativity, in the day that was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thy wash in the water to supply thee. That was not salted at all, nor swindled at all. None I pity thee to do any of these unto thee, to compass upon thee, but that was cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou was born. And when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted in thy own blood, and I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood. Live, yea, I said unto thee when I was in thy blood, live. So the Lord basically said that I cleaned you up. All right, I cleaned you up. I gave you the land. I gave you everything that you needed. Because when you read this whole thing, the Lord gave us gold, silver. He gave us necklace. He gave us fine clothing and so forth. He decked us out. All right. Verse 11 says, I decked thee also with ornaments, and put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thy ears, and beautiful crown upon thine head. That was decked with gold, silver, and raiment was of fine linen, and silk, and embroidered work, that didst eat fine flour, honey, oil, and that was exceedingly beautiful, and that didst prepare into a kingdom. So the Lord gave us everything. But as we all know the history, and to this very day, for this very moment, because when Apostle Tahar was showing the video, who stood out the most out of all those weirdos that was out there, the Transformers? It was the nigga man. All right, who stood out the most? Okay, it says that renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I put upon thee, saith the Lord. So the Lord has made what made us beautiful as a nation. Okay, let me jump down, because like I said, it's a long chapter. It's a beautiful chapter. Brothers should definitely read this and understand the anger that is why the Lord has towards Israel. Okay, and that's why the Lord said that our father was a Amorite, and our father was a Hittite. Okay, now let me jump down to verse 20. Moreover, that has taken thy sons and thy daughters, whom thou hast born unto me, and these hast thou sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of the whoredoms a small matter? So they was doing the same. Israel is doing the same thing. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are doing the same goddamn thing that you was doing in the past, but you doing it openly. Because the majority of those people that was out there, once again, in that fucking cesspool of a parade, were Jake and young Jake. All right. So it says, verse 21, that has slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them, and all that abomination in thy whoredoms, that has not remembered the days of thy youth, when thou was naked and bare and was polluted in blood. And it came to pass after all thy wickedness, woe unto thee, save Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that has also built unto thee an eminent place, has made thee in high place in every street, that has built thine place at every head of the way, and has made beauty to be abhorred, and have opened thy feet to every one that has passed by, and multiplied thy whoredoms, that has also committed fornication with the Egyptians, which is what? These other nations, which today that's the modern what? American, man. All right. I was looking for the statistic. I was like, you know what? We all have eyes. You don't have to need spreadsheet, statistic to realize that who's being the number one target of homosexuality now. Who's the poster face of that shit? All right. Shit, I remember in the 90s when that Bati boy, RuPaul, and it was a small little thing, but nobody tried to stop that shit. Now look, okay, so our people committed fornication. They sold out. The whole Black Lives Matter was funded by witches and LGBT, whatever you want to call them. All right, it says, Great of the flesh has increased thy whoredoms, that provoke me to anger. Behold, therefore I stretch out my hand over thee, and have diminished thee. or ordinary food, and deliver thee unto the will of them that hate thee, the daughters of the Philistines, which are ashamed of thy lewd way. Because let's look up the word lewd. Lewd is zama, plan, device, wickedness, evil plan, mischievous purpose, planned purpose. So what was the purpose of everything what has been said, or what's being done? To make Israel the poster child of this whole movement, which brings forth the anger of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And the scripture says, the accuser of our brethren. So it's who's behind the masterful plan of all this? It's Esau. By what? By polluting the food, by putting certain images in the minds of the people, taking fathers out the household, sending them to jail, and they ain't be in jail. It's a cesspool of wickedness, man. All right, and because of their lewd ways, it says that has played the whore also for Assyria, because that was unsatiable. Yeah, that has played and harlot with them, and yet that could not be satisfied. That has moreover multiplied that fornication in the land of Canaan unto the Chaldee, and yet that was not satisfied herewith. How weak is thine heart, which means how weak is your mind. All right, save the Lord, seeing thou didst all these things, the work of an imperious whorish woman. Let's look at this word, impudent whorish woman. Dominating. Let me see. Let me look this up. Slakia. And I want to say it wrong. Let me just.
Imperious.
Assuming power of authority without justification. Ignorant and dominion. Let me look up that word.
Domineering.
Assisting one's will over another in an argument way. Okay. It says, verse 31, and that thou buildest thine eminent place in the head of every way, and makest thine high place in every street, and has not been as an harlot, and thy scorches higher, but as a wife that committeth adultery, with taking strangers instead of her husband. And who's Israel's husband? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. So, like I said, this whole chapter is bad. This is the same chapter that says, so is a mother, and so is a daughter. So this is a sickness that's in Israel. But how is the Lord gonna get rid of all that? Isaiah, I believe it's one. I just want to go to the point. Matter of fact, Jeremiah 2. Yep, Jeremiah 2:21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, which noble means, matter of fact, let me just look it up. I don't want to. Choice species of vine, choice grapes. Holy, a royalty. So the Lord planted us as a choice, all right, of all choices. Holy right seed. How thou art to turn into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me. For though thou hast washed thee with nitrate, and take thee much soap, yet thy iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So, no matter how Israel pretends to be holier than thou, all of Israel's evil deeds is in the sight of the Lord. I don't know, I keep popping up. Alright? It's in the sight of the Lord. And you have fallen for the trap that Esau has laid out for you. But that was the point I wanted to get, because I know I'm going to call this Isaiah 1. Matter of fact, it's 7. I'm going to jump down. In fact, no. Isaiah 1 and 9. I'm going to jump down after that. It says, except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very strong remnant, which is what? The elect. All right, the elect is not going to be a part of this madness. The elect's going to hate this world and what the world stands for. Okay? See, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they're quick to run to do evil. The scripture says, from my people found wicked men. All right? It tells you about a busybody. Everything that's being done because, like the scripture says in, which I just read in Ezekiel, because Israel's heart, which meaning mind, was weak. Okay? So the Lord has set aside his choice grape, his choice vine, the one that was not going to fall for it. It says we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like Gomorrah. So if it wasn't for the effect of the elect, all right, Lord, when I'm part of the elect, then all of Israel would have been wiped away, because we surely would have went that route, and we all know that the end results of that route. Okay, it says, hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom, give ear unto the law of your power, you people of Gomorrah. So then there's another thing. So the Lord was calling his people Sodom and Gomorrah. So it can't be a shocking thing to see our people. It's disgusting, it's vile, it's wicked, but these are the attributes that was displayed back then, it has blown up to a greater portion, because now they're getting the rights to be that way. They're being cheered on to be that way. Just watch a video of a woman basically saying that being a straight black man, nobody wants to cheer that, but when a black man is effeminate, everybody wants to back him up. So this is an all-out war, man. So what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifice unto me, sacrifice unto me, save the Lord, Yahweh Bashan Shah. I'm full of burnt offerings of rams and fat of fed beasts. I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or goats. So the Lord got tired of this. But let me just jump down to the point I want to get. Verse 21. How was the faithful city became a harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness, lounge in it, but now murderers. Thy silver is become dross, thy wine is mixed with water. There's no purity. All right, there's nothing good about what Israel has become. Thy princes are rebellious, thy companies of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts, followeth after rewards. Thy judge not the fathers, neither doeth thy cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, power of hosts, the Almighty of Israel, Oh, I will ease me of my adversaries, and avenge me of my enemies. I will turn my hand upon thee, purely purge away the dross purely turn away thine dross, and take away all thy tin. So the Lord is going to purge out the wickedness in Israel. All right, and that's why nobody, because this is unwashed, the filthy generation of people, man. I will restore thy judges as the first, and thy counsels as the beginning. Afterward, that shall be called the city of righteousness and a faithful city. And how the Lord did that? By what? Raising the prophets. All right. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her coverings with righteousness. Let me see if I can get the point I want to get. There it is. It says, for they shall be ashamed of the oaks which they have desired, and shall be confounded from the gardens that ye have chosen. For ye shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that have no water, and the strong. Did I read down 21? Oh, I'm sorry, 28. Slakia. It said, the destruction of the transgressors of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord shall be consumed. For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which ye have desired, and ye shall be confounded for the gardens that ye have chosen. For ye shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that have no water. The strong shall be as the tow, and the maker of it as a spark, and they shall both burn together, and none shall quench them. So with that being said, all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Don't want any brothers to edify. Shalom to the next one. Shalom.